Hi, welcome back to Inside the Mind Meditations. I'm Denise, and you're on podcast 12 for part 11 of the fundamentals of physical and mental relaxation. And yes, these meditations are entirely free, so if you're new with us, please start at the beginning, as each one teaches something a bit different. And keep in mind, we'll be adding a new podcast each week. Not too quickly, though, as there is a lot to do and nothing. And since we commonly don't do nothing, it's not like we're practiced at it. So we have to learn how to do nothing. Just as well, if you click the little bell, should you decide to subscribe, you'll receive notices when the new podcasts are up. Otherwise, just check back with us about once a week and you'll find a new one. So I'd like you to congratulate yourself for allowing this time to yourself. In silence, moments of silence, we actually come to know ourselves. I do have a question, though. Um, can you let go while you're awake enough to sleep? Are you fearless? Are you free? Do you know what freedom is? This is why we meditate, to find freedom. And freedom begins where? Inside the mind. One of the things about meditation is to learn to live life as in a meditation, just as we are trying to do something else like purposefully meditate, only while we are active. Um, and toward that end, a wise man once said, "To know life and let go of life is wise. To know life and not let go of it is just talking." Same with life. To meditate outside of it as in practice only rather than being in practice of meditation while we are active is just practice. But to let go, we must first understand the rope which binds our hands to that which we wish to let go of. Without seeing it, we must learn about life so we know what binds us. And life is made up of sounds, interruptions, and all sorts of things which affect our thoughts and thus our bodies if we don't command the mind, as then the mind will run wild with these things like happy untrained dog if it hasn't learned how to focus. And unfortunately, we don't really teach how to focus anymore. What we do is we go to the doctor and he gives us some pills that harms our bodies so that we can remain focused. But with a little bit of work, we can actually learn how to become more focused than we would with pills. And don't worry, meditating a few times will not make you an expert or a failure. I mean, you wouldn't tell the dog to sit 3 times and expect him to know how to do it. The same with the mind. We have to practice and we have to train. So if you feel you've made no progress toward this end with perhaps 80 hours of meditation to your credit, you're fooling yourself. It's simply learning the possibilities of something and not becoming aware of whether or not we have those things is actually progress. Expert or not, all effort does eventually apply toward the end. Just like the well-trained dog who can sit in front of his food for an hour and not touch it, but be perfectly fine. We are very much the same. And when we are fortunate, we understand there is no end ever to this training, just a new beginning every day with new tools added. However, currently, unlike the untrained dog, sounds, disruptions, and thoughts are sometimes thought of as a distraction, when in reality the only thing that can distract us from anything is our own thoughts, which mostly distance us from our true nature when they turn to judgment of self and others. And when we are aware, thoughts and feelings are only as they are and do not interrupt our true nature, which is to only observe. Yes, a challenging concept, I get that, but we all figure it out, and no amount of literal meaning will ever explain anything above it satisfactorily. However, to know there is a question means you are going someplace, and that is good. So when we are meditating, sometimes we don't notice the thoughts that dominate us at all, unless we're reminded to notice them and that they have swept us away from our focus, or at least we don't notice them at first. We are simply swept away, waiting for someone or something to pull us back. And then when we return, we don't even realize we've been away. But that's perfectly normal, so I really wouldn't worry about it. However, when we do become aware of our thoughts and the power that they have to sweep us away, we realize why we didn't notice them initially. And perhaps we thought we were focusing on breath and body during meditation, or maybe during life, paying attention to the meditation, but we found that we drifted off elsewhere. And we are actually more likely to notice this, that we've drifted off in thought, when we are practicing meditation. However, if we are aware of thoughts as they happen and how they feel in the body, as we advance, we will also notice so-called distractions don't disturb us at all when we are in balance. Now, most people anticipate this is going to happen overnight, as with enlightenment. When it doesn't, a lot of people will pretend that it has happened. Regardless, enlightenment and transcendental knowledge happen bit by bit over time, as does wisdom, and each are earned, they are not gifted. Generally, um, does not happen when we try for it, but rather when we make space for it. And even when we make space, it's sort of like we stumble along trying to open our eyes to see, and then we discover the moment we truly drop our judgments for an instant, just one instant. It can be a few seconds or a few minutes. It's like we trip and fall into the well of enlightenment, have a sip, then we get up and move on, returning to thirst again, as we are accustomed to doing in life. So when we have ignorance within ourselves, we have a thirst for knowledge. And fortunately, as we move on in meditation and self-discovery, our thirst for knowledge increases because we become more aware of the ignorance that has blinded us into judgment. Regardless, or I should say to that end, thirst is good. It motivates us and compels us forward. In any case, when the mind takes over, the more we seek, the more it flees, and the thirstier we become. But at the same time, the more we think we know, while discovering just how little we know. However, water does not make you fat. Rather, water cleanses, as does knowledge. So simply acknowledge you seek and work to observe rather than to judge without exploiting self or others. And what you need will come to you because you let go of everything that binds you to it. So basically, one can never fly if they hold onto the rope that binds them. And hopefully by now, if you weren't before, you are becoming more comfortable and accepting of the life around you through observation, non-judgmental observation. The dog barking in the background, the neighbor's rap, whatever. Regardless of what it is, it doesn't really feel like the rain that lulls us to sleep in ease, but later, actually, Those things will. So until it does, we will thank it now, all those things that irritate us, and just realize that those things are rather like a marker of where we are so that we know what we must work on. Rather than blame, realize what is within and know both will pass. These are all rather difficult concepts to grasp until we have experienced them, and then we know them. And that is the first step toward wisdom. So, this is the first exercise of letting go, self observation, no judgment of self or others. And you've been practicing that for a bit now, and I'd like to congratulate you. Um, don't worry if it's actually not coming to you yet, if you still find yourself caught in judgment of self and others. Just realizing that you're still caught in those things is major progress. So by now, if you're trying to pick these things up by doing one podcast per day, it might be a bit of a challenge, and it might be better to spend at least a few days with each podcast as the practices expand. Um, listen, check in the morning and at night with yourself, with your body, with your breath, and get a little bit practice so that you actually have some awareness of how to do these meditations before moving on and trying to add the next thing. I realize it seems easy to add one thing per day, but the things you're trying to add come with breaking lifelong habits where reality is actually lost, even if you've mastered life. So take your time. There is no race to win, no hurry whatsoever. Sometimes you'll move faster than others, and when you feel you can't keep up, slow down. Before we begin the meditation, I'd like to discuss activating all 2,000 nerve endings in the body while rubbing the palms of the hands together and the soles of the feet together at the same time, prepping the body for meditation. This movement actually activates chi, or the energy field within and also on the outside of the body. A lot of people think this is pure crap, and of course I did too until I actually discovered it wasn't. So today we're going to discover how you can actually bear witness to that energy. Because when we activate our chi in meditation, in this meditation, we'll take just a moment before sitting and moving into prayer pose so that we can actually feel it. So just for fun, before we begin this meditation, I'd like you to activate your chi by laying down on your back and rubbing the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet together at the same time, creating enough heat to activate all 2,000 nerve endings. And then I want you to go back to laying down and relax your arms beside you, but face the palms of your hands toward each other with the fingers relaxed like you're holding a ball. But keep the palms 3 or 4 inches apart from each other. And then relax and focus the gaze on the space between your palms while breathing calmly. And soon you'll begin to feel a sensation within the hands. The longer you wait, the larger the sensation grows. It's your body's energy, it's chi, it's life force energy. And when we place the palms up, then, as we do during meditation or these particular meditations, we are connecting to the ether with that energy we have created. So rarely do we want to connect to the earth during meditation, as we've been connected to the collective energy all day long. So during meditation, we either want to connect to the ether or to a certain chakra within. And during meditation, we use this energy to connect with either the source or ourselves, which we will do in later meditations. So if we are working with energy, it's good to experience the energy we are working with so that we know we are doing something more than just believing in something. So now I'd like you to begin by activating your chi by rubbing the palms of your hands together and the soles of your feet together at the same time, creating enough heat to activate all 2,000 nerve endings within the body. So we'll do that now. And if you have heat, just go ahead and lay back, and with the palms of your hands about 3 to 4 inches apart, your fingers loose as though you're holding a ball, and just with the eyes softly focused on the space between your palms, or you can close your eyes if you'd like. Just like you to hold your hands together and feel the energy as it builds. If you can even sort of slightly move the palms back and forth to feel the energy shift within. And so yeah, that's your chi, and some of you will have felt that energy a little stronger than others, but don't worry, the more we meditate, the more we build our life force energy, as known as chi, and the stronger our auras become. So now that we have that understanding, let's think about how, as we begin to observe our thoughts and how they create feelings in our body and affect the breath, and as we observe how those thoughts are attached to the tension and pain or more fun feelings we have when they are not neutral, and how that affects our energy field. So you will notice if you check in on a daily basis, like the more positive you are, the stronger this energy field will fill between your palms. And when you're in not such a good place, it won't feel so strong. Another example of this that we might be more familiar to us is we hear people say things about others all the time, like, oh, he has such great energy. So essentially, now we know how that energy feels and what people mean by that. When it's large, others feel it too. When it's small, they don't. That's why people who command their energy rarely have to tell anyone they are upset, because the person they're upset with feels energy. Same with love, although it's really nice to express our feelings. However, as we observe how our thoughts create feelings which have energy, which then manifest into form in the body of either pain or ease, we will become aware of just how important it is to find neutral space, because only in neutral space are we able to experience joy, and only in joy can we experience healing in all aspects of our life, physical, emotional, or mental. And please be aware, neutral does not mean apathetic. It means a place where no opposite can arise, so we experience joy as neutrality, which, like joy, is without condition, because it has no opposite either. And as we further meditation, the goal is to take that into life and endeavor to observe self without judgment throughout the day. It might seem strange to stay focused on self, but when we do, we begin to know others more deeply than we ever did before. So, another benefit. Don't worry, it generally takes years of practice to achieve that, but it eventually pays off. Um, each little drop that we add to our bucket of knowledge, it just means more in the bucket. Even trying is a beginning, even if we note that at the end of the day we totally forgot because it's not a habit for us like so many other things. So, with that in mind, let's begin the meditation in the usual way of lying down flat on our back, if possible, with the spine straight, hands by hips, palms up, and take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to ready the body for relaxation. Now, while lying on your back, let's begin by rubbing the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet together at the same time, creating enough friction to activate all 2,000 nerve endings throughout the body, otherwise known as activating the chi. And having done that, please sit with your spine straight in whatever position is comfortable to you in preparation of setting our intention. And with about 5 pounds of pressure as you press the palms of your hands together in prayer pose, press the sides of your thumbs into your breastbone with another approximate 5 pounds of pressure so that the fingers are angled away from the body at a 60-degree angle. And let's activate the thyroid by closing our eyes 9/10 of the way and staring at the tip of the nose while crossing your eyes. And now set your intention through great feeling from the heart, starting with, I ask this for myself and for whoever else, and also for the entire universe. And then feel your intention deeply within the heart. And let's begin. And please lie flat on your back with your spine straight, hands beside the hips and palms up, and allow your eyes to rest comfortably as you settle in and make any last-minute adjustments for physical comfort. And once settled, allow your mind to wander. As your mind wanders, allow it to review or to rehearse the day's events without judgment. And notice the feelings you have in your body as you observe these thoughts, and note whether they are pleasant or not pleasant or neutral. If they are pleasant or not pleasant, notice where you feel them in the body and how they feel within those points. And the same if they are neutral. And opening your eyes softly, return your focus to your surroundings. Look around the room so that you become entirely aware of your space and notice the objects within and any sounds. And as you become aware of your surroundings, begin deep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, filling the entire stomach, and then expand the breath through the chest. And exhale through the mouth, letting the entire body collapse. And continue breathing in and out, fully inhaling and fully exhaling. And with the next breath, gently close your eyes and settle into the space you are lying on, noticing any sounds around you and accepting them for what they are. And now, turn your attention to the body and without judgment, observe. Does your body feel heavy or light, tense or at ease? Feel the weight of the body as it sinks onto the surface you are lying on, observing the points of contact for the head, shoulders, back, hips, arms and hands, legs and feet. Feel them settle in comfortably, noticing the breath has returned to normal. And now turn the attention to the body, letting the points that want attention guide us. Notice areas of discomfort while also making note of the areas of ease. Observe each for what it is, nothing more. Realize it and accept it. And if the mind interrupts, note thinking, pleasant, non-pleasant, or neutral. And if the mind continues to interrupt, note what kind of thought or feeling you are having with one word. And notice how those thoughts and feelings feel in the body. Note the areas they are attached to. And observe, are the thoughts and feelings leaving your body feeling pleasant or not pleasant or neutral? And by doing this over time, we will begin to see how the mind uses our time and how those thoughts express themselves in the physical sensation in our bodies through the energy created by them. And now let's do a full body scan, just making note, comfort or discomfort, starting with the forehead and the back of the head. The brow line and ears, ears and cheeks, mouth and jaw, notice areas of tension and ease, and allowing space to be made for balance. Let's scan the throat and neck, shoulders, front and back, scanning now from the upper arms to the elbows, lower arms to wrists, hands to fingertips, allowing all to relax. Scan the chest now and the upper back, upper abdomen and mid-back, lower abdomen and lower back, the pelvic region and tailbone, hips, and starting at the top of the thighs, scan to the knees, both front and back. Lower legs to ankles. Feet. And finally the toes. Allowing all to be as it is. Peace, not at peace. Now feel the body as a whole. Simply become aware of it through feeling without judgment, only observation. And now observe the breath in its natural state. Is it light and shallow, or deep and full? Rapid or slow? And if it feels comfortable to you, you can place one or both hands over your tummy in an area where you can feel the breath most and the rise and fall of your breath through your hands. And notice as the breath changes. And as you become aware, your thoughts have drawn you away from your focus on your breath. Look at the way the thought feels in the body. Notice if the thought creates a feeling, and briefly look at where that feeling is. And if you have no feeling in the body related to the thought, call it a thought and realize it as neutral. And if there is a feeling with the thought, note if it is pleasant or not pleasant, and observe how and where it feels in the body. And try to maintain focus on the breath as you do this. And if you are only having a feeling or sensation, then observe the feeling or sensation and whether it is pleasant or non-pleasant or neutral. And after each observation, return the focus to the breath. And if the thought or feeling persists, simply note, pleasant or not pleasant or neutral. Give it a label, one word, and again return to the breath. Now try to focus more deeply on the breath. And to do so, you may want to assign a mantra to each breath or count them from 1 through 10, and then return again to 1 and begin again. And now, please allow the mind the freedom to do as it will. As we conclude this meditation, I would like you to include an extension of this practice of observing breath and thought and how they feel in the body with one word in active life, or endeavor to at least set the intention first thing in the morning or many times throughout the day. It is normal to forget anything we try to begin. However, as long as you set the intention, it will eventually arrive. The intention I would like you to set is during active life, and I would like you to observe throughout your waking hours of the day and notice without judgment beyond beyond your breath and the feeling in your body and your own thoughts, those who support your thoughts and ideas and those who don't, and how that feels in the body while first observing the breath in the body. Then identify the thoughts and feelings as pleasant, not pleasant, or neutral. If the feeling is deep, assign the thoughts or feeling one word, perhaps validation or invalidation. If the exchange does not feel good, do not engage, just notice how it affects the body and the breath. If it feels good, please do enjoy without losing focus on the body and breath. And regardless, try to observe yourself and others without judgment, only observation, and note the experience, positive, not positive, or neutral. If you forget, which is common, just when you remember, perhaps when you're reviewing your day, perhaps then it's a good idea to go over those things. And that way we eventually form the practice. It doesn't matter if we do it in the moment or much later, just so long as we do it. Now you may choose to go to sleep or begin your day or be on with it. If you wish to go to sleep, if you are able, please comfortably turn your head to the right and drift off to sleep now to the sound of my voice, after giving gratitude for the day and also tomorrow and for all week long. If you wish to rise, please turn your head slightly to the left and become aware of your body, your fingers and toes, hands and feet, arms and legs, tummy and torso, shoulders, neck, face and head, finally your body as a whole, and recognize, does the body feel heavy or light, relaxed or tense? And now recognize the points of contact and become aware of the sounds around you. And open your eyes and become aware of your surroundings, the things you see and hear. And after giving gratitude for the day, while holding the feeling of joy in your heart, you may rise when you are ready. I hope you had a great time at Inside the Mind Meditations and really appreciate you joining us. And once again, please feel free to subscribe to our channel. Should you wish for notifications of future meditations, then click on the little bell. They're all free, and as well, your comments are always appreciated. Good day or night, and I hope to relax and meditate with you soon. Thanks so much for being here.